Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. My name is Matt Purcell. I'm the personal branding sensei. My intention today is to help clear up the confusion of how to build a personal brand and where you can start. So I've worked with some of Australia's biggest brands, individuals, and also company brands. I'm the co-founder of the Business Academy with Janine Ellis, the Boost Juice founder. So we help businesses all around Australia to be able to help scale to the next level, teaching them not from theory, but from lived and learned experiences. And my company, KYU Media, Q Media, that's my Korean middle name. We work with some of the biggest brands in Australia on content marketing and social media strategy. So my question for you today is, why are you here? Why did you choose this session? Are you a founder that's looking to build their personal brand and use it as a marketing tool to be able to reach more customers? Are you an expert that's trying to position themselves to be, to stand out from the crowd, to build a following? Or you just see that this personal branding thing is interesting and you want to know how you can build it? Well, I'm glad you're here. So I want to ask you this question. Who do you think has more influence? This guy over here, he's Tim Cook. He's not Steve Jobs, but he's Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. Or Apple. Who's got more followers? I want you to dial that in your head. And the answer to that quickly is Tim Cook has way more followers than Apple. Bill Gates has way more followers than Microsoft. Yes, and Elon Musk has way more followers than Tesla. Well, there's a seismic shift that's happened. We used to believe the 4 channels. It used to be very simple. It used to be, ABC, Channel 10, Channel 7, 9, and SBS, Sex Before Soccer. And it used to be quite simple. You'd be able to go to them. We wouldn't even question these institutions like the church or the government. We wouldn't have to feel skeptical of it. But there has been a massive shift that we've moved away from blind faith in institutions and we're chasing authenticity from the individual. It's no longer just about the horse, it's about the jockey. Who's riding this thing? Who owns this institution? So we've entered the age of authenticity and we've left the age of blind institutional trust. This is really important. 84% of millennials don't trust the ads that come from the company that made them. Let me say this again. 84% of millennials don't trust the ads that come from the company that made them. A millennial is somewhere in their 20s into their early 40s now. So you might be thinking, great, I'll just hire some influencers. Wrong. 90% of people are now becoming more skeptical on influencer marketing. So influencers are out and experts are in. So you might be asking, what actually is personal branding? Let me unpack it with a straight up definition from my perspective. Personal branding is a marketing tactic that turns a person's story, skills, and personality into a marketing tool. It's about using who you are, all your receipts, all your personality to put in front of your business to associate what you do with a certain value. Branding is an association between two things, a relationship with two things, and a brand has a certain strength. Does it have a certain reach? Does it have a certain credibility to it? Does it have a certain influence over people? That's the strength of a brand. So how do you actually build a personal brand? That's what we're going to focus on in the next few moments.
The problem with most personal brands are like the street of project homes. They're functional, but forgettable. It's all the same, they're all cookie cutter, and nothing pops. Personal branding's goal is to not just blend in with the block. You want to be in the house that turns heads, because in business, blending in gets you nowhere. When you think about it, there's about 1,000 homes in this neighbourhood. There's about 198,000 accountants in Australia. There's about 134,000 real estate agents. There's about 9,000 advertising agencies and around 55,000 cafes in Australia. So the question is, why the hell should anyone choose you over your competition? How do you build a personal brand that makes you stand out amongst a sea of other houses? Glad you asked. I'm going to show you how.
The problem isn't your competition. The problem is when no one can tell you apart from them. When you copy the leader and you go to the website, say copy their copy their creative, your marketing actually serves them, not you, because you're reminding every single person of the leader and not you. That is the biggest red flag. I see so many people, especially in our early days of agency land, copy our competitors. It's like, you seriously want to support the leader more? If I just did the logo test and covered your website up and we have 4 browsers up of your competitors, you're all going to look exactly the same, like a Lego house, exactly like a project home. And so many people have project home personal brands and they're going to not just they're just going to blend in and it's not going to serve you. If people can't tell you the difference from other people, that's because you haven't spent the time and the work to define yourself. I build personal brands like houses, and this is my formula and my structure to build celebrity CEO personal brands right through to expert experts who want to be somebody. There are 5 levels to it. The bottom level is your strategy and message. That's what sets you apart from the rest. It's sometimes the most expensive part. Because once you know who you are, you know what to post about. Then you go up to publishing. Then you move up to your offer. Then you move up to, then the media has something to actually look at as evidence and proof. And then you get to the top place where people want to use your name and partner with you, do joint ventures, do affiliate marketing. That's awesome. You're the hot chick at the party, so to speak. We're going to focus quickly on strategy and marketing. There are 5 levels to personal branding, and I want you to have a look at which one do you think you're at currently right now. There is the in-house expert. You might just be an employee in a business and you might be really, really good, but no one knows you outside the 4 walls. The second one is local hero. Someone in your local area code, where in your local community, you might win a local business award. You're just known around that area code. Regional leader is that you're a known leader in your state. Maybe it's Sydney, maybe it's Queensland, maybe it's Newcastle, for example. Then it's micro celebrity. So this is a famous person within a niche of users of a social media platform or a particular industry. So there might be a famous accountant or famous chef or a famous the 1, 2, 3, the Telstra, Vodafone, and Optus version of someone in your industry. They can walk down the street, no one will know who they are, but as an expert, you know who they are. And the top one is a household name, like Gordon Ramsay, etc., etc. So the question is, which level are you at right now? Are you a local hero? Are you a regional leader? Which level are you aiming for? So what are the skills that you need to acquire? What is the money that you need to put in? And what's the work, and most importantly, you need to actually do to get to that level that you're not at? And then the last question is, what's your purpose for doing so? Why do you want to get there? So I want to give you an example of someone who's good enough but not known enough. Her name's Shelley Johnson. She's a client of ours. She's a HR consultant. People don't really like HR people because they're like, are you a police officer? Which side of the field are you playing for, the employee or me? So she came to us with a podcast and she just launched a book. She was more of a regional leader level. Let's see what she has to say.
Hey, I'm Shell and I've been working with the team at Q Media and with Matt for about 12 months on developing my personal brand. And I've got to say, if I rewind to where I was about 12 months ago when I first did the personal brand workshop, I was absolutely terrified of putting myself out there and especially awkward about video content like I'm doing right now. I was like an awkward mess and I couldn't get past it. And so I sat in this workshop and I realized if I want to build this business, if I want to attract more clients, more work, more opportunity, I've got to get over myself and I've got to be able to be willing to put myself out there. So I went through this process with the team at Q and really started to do consistent video content, posting on Instagram and LinkedIn every single day and just showing up online and having a voice and having a perspective and opinion. And for me, that was a real challenge. But as I've done that, the business opportunities that I've had have just grown 10x. And one amazing win that's come out of building my personal brand has been about 6 months ago. The Sydney Morning Herald reached out and asked me to write a monthly column for the Sydney Morning Herald and The Age. And that opportunity would have never come if I didn't work on building my personal brand, and it's had so many other amazing opportunities. I think one thing I've really learned is to step out of your comfort zone and put yourself out there. And those areas that you might find challenging or you might feel that resistance, like me, the video content was a big thing, like that feeling of I'm really awkward, I don't know how to do it, but just going, you know what, this is something that people in my industry aren't doing, so I'm just going to step into the space and own it. And I know that I have a voice and an opinion that's going to be valuable to contribute and it's going to help serve people. And that has been a huge game changer for me in my business and in my own professional life. So I really encourage you, invest in your personal brand, lean into the awkward mess newbie stage. You'll be that for a while, but then you'll start to get confident. And so thanks to the team at Q and to Matt, because it's done absolute wonders for me and my business.
Within 12 months of actually doing the work, building a strategy, investing with us in building this plan out, she actually worked on her presentation skills, because the big advantage was there's no HR consultants who look like her and put themselves in front of their business and using her face and her voice to be able to talk about fresh topics of the now. And because of that, within 12 months, approached by The Age as a monthly columnist, she achieved the LinkedIn Leading Voice Badge, which she can only be selected for, all within the space of 12 months. And the lesson here is you need a strategy. She wasn't the best on camera, like she said. She was actually a really good writer. But you've got to get into creator mode. And you've got to be able to articulate, like experts have to put their opinion out there and they have to commentate on the future, the past and the present. It's okay to not have an equal amount of followers across all your channels. Sometimes there'll be a primary channel that you actually take off on, say LinkedIn for Shelley, because that's the professionals network. So don't feel bad if you've got more followers on Instagram, so to speak, than on LinkedIn. A personal branding strategy is like an architecture building a home. I was talking to my best mate who has a master's degree in architecture. I said, hey mate, how much is it going to cost to be able to do my house? And he said, well, it's about 8 to 12% of your construction build budget. I'm like, what? That's like $100,000 for a CAD drawing with a PDF and some lines. And I was just laughing at him, and he confronted me. He said, mate, those lines on a piece of paper and all those chats to getting the DA and the council informs the whole build. So last case study is Lane Beachley, good friend of mine, good client of ours for many, many, many years. Over 5 years she's been a client of ours and very dear friend of mine, adopted as well. Let's hear what she has to say.
Hey everyone, Lane Beachley here, 7 times world surfing champion. And look, the first time I met Matt Purcell, it was at a cafe in Manly and he made me cry. I was really scared to put myself out there into the world of social media because I was afraid of how it may be perceived or interacted with. Fortunately, Matt, with his expertise and amazing team around him, gave me the confidence to invest in that. And as a result, we've grown my profile to over 100,000 followers with a very actively engaged audience. People literally stop me every day saying, I love your feed, I love what you do, and I'm deeply inspired by the material that you share. So thanks to Matt and his team, I'm incredibly proud of the progress that we're making.
Over a short period of time, she's gone from 28,000 followers to over 100K followers on Instagram. She's had a big amount of inquiries going out of transitioning out of being an athlete to now wellness champion. So hosting TV shows now, being a keynote for all these conferences that aren't always just athlete related. But I want to say this, if your knowledge is here, but your content level is here, people are going to judge you based on this. Your brand isn't shaped by what you know. Your brand is shaped by what you show.